Radio.
Podcast, all things Nintendo. Yeah!
All right, welcome to the Nintopic Podcast. We are live. We are here. This is it. I don't have any sound effects to share with you right now. I think that kind of works, right? But we are here, guys, and I'm proud to announce that this is our very first sponsored podcast episode, and we are sponsored by none other than Aver Media. Everyone, if you're listening right now with your ears, you're listening to us by Aver Media's microphone. It is called the Mic M350, and it's provided by Aver Media to the podcast. If you're listening to it right now, guys, how does it sound? Let me know in the chat. How does Paul sound? Paul, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. All things considered, still with the knuckle injury, but everything else good.
Yeah, I saw your
Looking
hand up.
forward to a 3-day storm, actually. We're having a 3-day storm. It's going to be a real gale force outside, and I love the rain, so I'm saying bring it on.
A Paul Gale Force.
The Paul Gale Force. That's right.
I just got that. So, I can't ask if you've been playing games because you have your hand up.
You know,
and so
thanks to the Joy-Con,
yeah,
I can grip the little right Joy-Con with this hand, and I've been playing some Princess Peach Showtime.
Oh, nice.
It is the first game I think that my kids completely beat before me.
Nice.
You know, so
awesome.
I saw the last boss and ending on my son's file as he was playing with my daughter, and on my it's okay because I'm playing through on my file a little slower. I'm sitting there watching them during their spring break playing on their file. I'm like, oh, so that comes next, but it's okay. It's a symbiotic experience, and I saw the last boss.
It's a proud moment.
It's a cool moment, and it's a really cool game, like fun game.
Is it worth the $59?
You know, as a Nintendo fan, as a fan of Princess Peach and good gameplay and good variety, I would say yes.
Okay.
It's probably less meaty of an experience as something like Kirby and the Forgotten Land or Luigi's Mansion 3. Also, probably a little bit less of an overall polish, meaning it has a little more jankiness than either of those games, in which those games were very highly polished, but really good. If you want to equate it to, is it going to give you 60 hours of entertainment? Probably not. No. You could beat it in 7-8 hours, and maybe it takes you a dozen to complete it and get all of the things. But is it a good experience for that time? Like, I would say that, like, I haven't beaten it, but I've seen most of it, right? It's a good 8 out of 10, in my opinion. Like, a really good game.
Awesome. And let's take it over to Zelda's mama. DJ, Joycey, Jay, do you want to finish chewing, or do you want to go to Zach while you chew?
I'm so sorry, guys. I literally ran off of work. Can you hear me? I got off work. My Uber
Yeah,
Eats was late. My Uber Eats was late. And so I'm over here nibbling on just the chips. I have chips and queso, but I figured that was just like a little too much.
Nice.
Did you go to
So, but I
Chipotle?
have no. We have Taco Cabana down here.
Oh, cool.
It's Not
Tacos, that
Chipotle.
sounds good.
It's like if no shade, but it's like if Taco Cabana or excuse me, Taco Bell actually tried.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. That's
So,
that's
but what have I been playing? Of course, Tears of the Kingdom. Still making a very slow trek through that. Let's see here. What else? Pretty much that's it. It has been an extremely busy week, and for whatever reason, nobody was off work. Nobody was off today. So when I tell you, it was back to back
Mhm.
nonsense all day, all day. So I'm really glad to be here to talk about games.
That's awesome. And good Jersey. How about you, Zach? What's going on?
What up, everybody? I am still house sitting for my sister, and they got that PS5 with Spider-Man 2.
Oh man.
So
Nice.
I have been rocking Spider-Man these past couple days as I've had some more time. It's a pretty good experience so far. I mean, it does not compare to the first one in the slightest, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know why that happens. Like, you'll have like a masterpiece where like everything is pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you get the sequel, and it's like written by the same people, and every single line is just like the cheesiest thing ever and like the most like cringy shoehorn. And I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, where's the drop off? But no, I enjoy actually playing the game and being Spider-Man. The only problem is it's making me not be Spider-Man. Like, way too much. It's like, all right, now you have to walk through a science lab and talk about bees. And I'm just like, no, let me walk through a science lab, get bitten by a radioactive spider, and beat up bad guys. But
Right.
I think I'm going to get the symbiote suit in a few. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
I played Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. I love the second one. I love the mechanics of the second one. Like, I think it's more fluent and the swinging part and everything.
Yeah,
and,
I love the swinging.
Fighting. Yeah, the fighting. Yeah, I can agree with you when it comes to storyline. I'm waiting for that DLC, which I think is going to be even better, hopefully. But I am on the train that I like Spider-Man 2 just a little bit more than Spider-Man 1 when it comes to the fighting and the swinging and the mechanics and everything. And the city is so much bigger, so you have more space to travel and stuff.
Yeah, mind you, I haven't had the alien suit yet, so that's like half of the mechanics I haven't even unlocked.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that'll probably tip me more towards your scale.
Yeah,
I know specifically, and honestly, this is the very beginning of the game, so it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah.
But there's like, it wasn't even a cutscene; like it was a mission you had to play. But you're like breaking into your old school to go over, like your high school, to go over memories, like with your friend. And I'm just like, this is weird. This is two 30-year-old dudes.
I thought that was
just.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I thought maybe you're older.
I thought that was fun though. Like for me,
I like sitting around.
It is those moments that I'm like, it's taking video games into true story pieces of medium. And
I agree with that.
You're not really playing it in that moment. You're just experiencing it, but experiencing it through a live action cutscene sort of. So like, I don't know. For me, I like the change of pace, even though Spider-Man portions are the best, but like that flashback kind of stuff, I thought it was unique, but yeah. It's a beautiful game. What's also really impressive, not to, take over the podcast.
Go for it.
When I was playing it, I was so impressed with it visually, but I was wondering, gosh, I was really impressed with Spider-Man visually back in the day. So I was like, did it really improve that much or not? So I went back to play the actual Spider-Man remastered version, which looks better than the original, right? And I'm like, oh man, it's a big difference over remastered. And then looking back at, okay, what did it look like before? Like, oh wow, it is quite a big of a jump. Like, your mind is stuck in 2018, which is already 6 years ago, and it was impressive then, and it still is. But they did really make some significant polygon improvements and lighting and shadow effects, and yeah.
No, I agree. I don't. My last Spider-Man point, since this is a Nintendo podcast, but you know me, I love my boy Spidey.
Yeah.
I had the same experience when I watched the Spider-Verse movies with my niece and nephew, and they hadn't seen either one of them.
Mhm.
And we were watching the first one, and when the first one came out just a couple years ago, it was like mind-blowing, award-winning, like so good animation.
Mm.
And I'm watching this first one, and I was just like, oh, this is like rougher than I remember. But I
Right?
watched the
That's
second one
weird.
more recently, and so it's just crazy how for a while it seemed like our graphics in games and movies had kind of plateaued. Like you can only, what is it, Moore's Law or whatever, you can only improve so much so quickly, and then it kind of plateaued. But these past couple years, I don't know if it's the AI or what, I feel like these games and these movies are looking crisper and crisper, and it's
Mm.
just in a 5-year span really impressive to me. But
That,
Nintendo.
that law of diminishing returns is a real thing, but we have yet to peak, you know.
I agree. I'm gonna go back to Spider-Man because I gotta tell you something. I love that game. I love that game so much that let me tell you what my favorite part of the game is literally going to warehouses, just sneaking by and one by one getting rid of each of the villains. Just like sneaking here, throwing a web across the building,
Really
and
cool.
and there's one by one, just and they at the end you go down, you see everybody just hanging around, just hanging
Yes.
from the webs. That's my favorite part. So little sneaky parts like that, like in the high school when they broke in and stuff like that. I love that. Just like
Yeah,
cool.
it's so funny because it's like I know I could just go in there and beat them all up so much quicker,
Yeah.
but there's just so much satisfaction from just like laying out your web on the ceiling and going across the line. And then when you unlock the ability to get 2 dudes at once instead of 1, and then you're just double yoinking them, and so good.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I mean, Spider-Man, I was hooked on both Spider-Man games. I actually played Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then I finished Miles Morales in time for when Spider-Man 2 came out, and I continued playing those. I played them back to back, like without stopping. So yeah, I mean,
I can't wait for more.
We're a Nintendo / Spider-Man podcast. Okay, that's But on my end,
If you're gonna stand Spidey.
Right? Yeah,
I love
I have
Spidey.
not picked. Oh, we all love Spider-Man. I mean, I can't wait till the next Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. I want them to introduce this other guy, the other Spider-Man, was it Miles Morales? Into the what is that?
Is that a doggy?
Yeah, it's a dog.
It's hilarious.
He's like, I'm just gonna squeak this toy right on your lap.
I was like, I don't think I'm pushing anything here. Like,
No, stop. All right, I'm gonna
That's
make
the
myself.
Aver Media microphone picking up dog chew toys.
He just he just wanted to play, and that was his that was his way of signaling he wants to play. Oh,
Yeah, so I have not picked up Princess Peach Showtime. I have not picked up Mario versus Donkey Kong. And so I think I've been involved in the channel, like content creation a lot and playing games less, maybe, which doesn't make sense because I mean, I don't cover gameplay. I just cover news. So kind of, there. But which game do you think I should pick up first, and which will be the best buck for my value? I want to ask somebody who's played Mario versus Donkey Kong and Princess Peach Showtime in the crew. I'm pretty sure, Paul, have you? And so which would you think would be the best bet for my buck?
Peach or Mario versus DK?
Yeah,
Princess Peach.
Princess Peach. Okay.
It's a new experience. You're getting brand new gameplay, brand new story, brand new types of play, full brand new music, brand new characters, everything brand new. It's a first of Nintendo to do something of this kind.
Nice.
And-
But mind you, I have never played Mario versus Donkey Kong either because that was released for the Nintendo DS, right? It's
Yeah.
Nintendo DS. And so with
For
my
Game Boy
eyes,
Advance.
was it Game Boy?
Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Game
got
Boy
first one,
Advance.
I think
Game Boy
GBA.
Advance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go ahead with Princess Peach first. On the other side, I've been playing Wind Waker. They got my Got my pad over here. My Nintendo.
As you should.
Got my pad right here. See, got my little pad right there.
Mhm.
But I have to admit, I had to jailbreak my console because
And now we're offline. No, I'm kidding.
I had to jailbreak my console, not to do anything illegal, but to add the ability to play Bluetooth controllers, because I play so that I can use this controller and play Wind Waker with this one, which I'm highly enjoying now, because I just don't really care much about the pad, and I can't even see the screen. So the screen is there. It's not big enough for me to experience. So yeah, I was able to unlock the Bluetooth part of the console so that I can actually play with my PS5 controller, and I've been enjoying it. I'm stuck in a. I still have 3 hearts. I'm stuck in this. I think it's the Rito with the Rito R. There's like a really big talking bird in the top who is just going nuts. And I'm stuck there for now, but I'll find my way around. I'll find my way around. I'm having fun, and I think that I have to say this: the art style I love.
Mhm.
I love the art style. Like after playing my last Zelda game was Tears of the Kingdom, going back to from Tears of the Kingdom, which is the last Zelda game, going back to Wind Waker HD. It's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Like I feel like I'm playing a cartoon,
Mhm.
and I like it. I like it a lot, So I'm enjoying it. I hope I can actually be more part of Zelda conversations later on when it comes to at least Wind Waker, and then after that I'll go play Twilight Princess after that one, and then I'll finish that.
I think while I'm off these next few weeks, I think I really need to replay Wind Waker, because I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't remember much. I remember a lot of the story, but I don't remember much, and I'm like, I need to probably. In fact, when I saw your post the other day, I was like, I should probably replay that. I gotta go dig out my Wii, my Wii U.
Yeah, I have one of the. I have my main TV that I have is that one back there, which is a 65-inch, and then I have a 55 here where I do all my editing, and this is where I'm playing it because this is an OLED, and this has some kind of AI upscaling onto it already. It just looks amazing. It looks so beautiful. And like, man, when Switch 2 comes out and then it uses that AI upscaling, which by the way, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that because we have news on Switch 2. I cannot wait to play Nintendo Switch games on Switch 2 because they're going to look amazing. But with that, before we get into the topic today, I want to go ahead and shout out our. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, are you playing Wind Waker HD? You're playing the HD version?
HD, yeah.
Okay.
HD.
Just wanted to make sure I didn't have to send you a copy of it. Go ahead. Because I own like 3.
For HD?
I have several copies. I have several physical copies of every single Zelda game.
I'll take it. I think Paul wants one because his hand is up.
Well, you don't need it.
I have a question. I'm waiting to be picked on. Come on.
I'll take it.
I have a question this whole time. I should do have a question.
Oh, what do you have a question for,
I'll give
Paul?
you my address. Go ahead, Paul.
Has anyone seen? Because since we're not even talking Nintendo yet, well, we are now with Wind Waker. But since we were going from Spider-Man, I was like, what else can I talk about? Did anybody see Godzilla Kong: The New Empire?
So good.
Not yet.
So freaking cool. Technically, the
Best
shirt is
one.
from Godzilla versus Kong from 3 years ago, but
Not yet.
I saw the New Empire yesterday. It
So
was awesome.
it's a following up movie to the last one, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
It's so cool.
So the
Like,
MonsterVerse and does it and just without spoilers, does it connect in any way to Monarch?
To the show?
Yeah.
technically,
Yeah.
by having Monarch in it, but like
Yes.
actual plot wise,
Yeah.
Enough in a way,
Yeah.
but not as
'Cause
much
it's
as
a-
you might kind of want.
It's the same
possibly.
universe.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's the same universe, but it's probably somewhere different, with other people maybe. I don't want to know about it because I want to see it this weekend. But
It's cool enough that for most of those 2 hours, I was Yeah. Oh!
Yup. I was hyped.
Yeah,
And
I can't wait.
I
I'm gonna go
wasn't
watch
the
it.
only one, which was good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like that kind of big, awesome energy. I saw it with my dad and my son, and like, oh,
Mhm.
yeah, we had a great time.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say it was my favorite out of the Godzilla and out of the MonsterVerse movies, and
Yeah.
then also too, it was the best out of the Godzilla and MonsterVerse
Oh,
movies.
man.
And I'd say those are two different things because I understand that what is it? I can't even think of it now. The second Godzilla, the one with Ghidorah. I understand that is probably the least best out of those movies, but that's one of my favorites because Ghidorah. So I have to put it in two lists. Actual goodness and my personal preference, and it's at the top of both of those.
That's
so
awesome.
good, so hype.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I think if there's enough demand, I might start a podcast for movies later on, just for movies, because man. Anyway, but
Yep.
segue. So segue. Before we get into the main topics of today, I just want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, today's new channel partner and new podcast partner, Aver Media. If you guys have not heard of yet, they are now an official podcast partner, and they provided us with the mics you see on screen right now. You're listening to them on any of the podcast thingies. You notice that our audio is just improved all of a sudden, right? We got Joshi Day with a new microphone. We have Zach's cat with his new microphone. We also have Paul Gale with his new microphone and myself with the microphone as well. We are on the Aver Media. This is 5:30, right? The 5:30 a.m. 5:30. No, not 5:30. 3:50. 3:50. And let me go ahead and just kind of rate to you guys a little bit about the Aver Media mic, which is super awesome. I had it right here. Where did I go? I had it right here. Okay. So anybody who wants to improve their audio, if you are looking for a good mic that is not like literally going to break your bank or even your pocket, I'm telling you, these mics are affordable for everyone. And the crazy thing is that the sound quality literally matches. Like I have another, I'm not going to mention the name, but I have a higher end mic that cost me $600. And right now, that's the one that I'm always been using. I'm using this now, and you guys can tell the quality, which is really good. This is called the AM350 live streamer mic, and it actually has let's read here. It says studio quality sound, perfect for singing if you guys sing, podcasting, or ASMR. It's good. If you are ready to take your audio to the next level, whether you are a singer, podcaster, or ASMR artist, a content creator, a live stream. This is the live streamer mic 350 or the AM 350. It's a USB microphone, so it's crazy the quality you get, because normally you have to connect the other mics to like an external mixer and try to adjust it there to get good audio. But this one, hook it up straight to your computers. You don't need to be like an audio expert, right? And then it's affordable, professional studio quality, and has a lot of capabilities. Let's see here. Enjoy parallel immersive sound experiences with Aver Media's expertise in audio hardware design and Direct's audio tuning algorithm. The AM350 is exceptional in its build and sound quality. Indulge in unparalleled immersive studio grade sound experiences every time you hit record or click go live. As you guys can see, we are really enjoying our Aver Media mics. And not only that, it comes with this really, really easy to use software. It's called, I have it right here, Vibe Engine. And when you plug in your mic, you open Vibe Engine, it literally has a one-touch settings on everything. If you want a podcast, just click on podcast. It'll automatically set up your mic. It has instruments, it has singing, it has chat, right? And of course, let me show you something. This is me without the EQ or without that button I pushed on the Aver Media, right, for the software. I'm only going to push one button. This is me now. You guys tell the difference? Anybody in the podcast? Can you tell the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in the crew?
You sound a little bit
Oops.
louder before, though.
It's a little louder, but this is.
You know, you sounded a little
EQ,
bit
so
louder before. You sound a little far
What?
away. Guys,
You
to be
sound-
perfectly
sound-
honest, we have all been so busy this week. We have not had a chance to talk or have a test run of these. We tried so hard to get together before the stream and it just didn't work out.
So
So
if
we're
we-
really
if-
going off of steam.
So do
But
we
chat,
have-
you could let us know, chat. I know earlier you said that Mike had a little bit echoey. Does Mike sound better now? And how does Zach, Joycey, and I sound?
Yeah, let's hear the
how does
chat.
the audio? How does the audio sound? How does the audio sound right now to me? How does the audio sound?
Staticky
That's
now.
good? I mean, I'm talking about staticky.
There's a little crackle behind if I
Mhm.
wanted to say it.
All right. And
Oh,
how
is it
now?
plugged in all the way? Because I know I made that mistake.
Joycey,
Mm-hmm.
you sound good. Zach,
1, 2,
I had
testing.
some squeaky toy going on, so I was just staying muted.
you sound good.
Yeah, it was all squeaky. And then I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret about this dog. He's a poop eater, and so
A
he
poop
was
eater?
following
Oh.
one of the cats, trying to like lick its butt, and the cat does not like that. So
1,
he's got
2,
the squeaky
testing.
toy. The cat's going meow, 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 meow. And I'm like, guys, I'm doing a podcast with a new mic that's picking up all of this sound.
All right,
That's
does
the
it
quality.
sound- how does it sound now?
Crackly.
Crackly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everyone sounds good except Mike. What? How's that possible? Let me go back in. How about now? 1, 2, testing, Mike. Mike, check,
Everything
Mike, check.
you do makes it worse.
That's a little bit better though. Now we're improving though. That was an improvement.
Oh, but Joycey, you got to back up off the mic
Oh,
because
1,
you sounded
2.
like Mike for a second.
oh my.
Oh wait, is it because I'm so close to the mic?
Maybe turn your gain down a little bit. The top knob, just turn it to counterclockwise slightly.
Hold up.
Oh, you're speaking in the back of the mic, Mike.
Is that the problem?
Yeah, it's backwards.
How about now?
Oh, so much better.
Oh,
That's a lot clearer.
Aver Media, you'll sound great unless you speak in it backwards.
pro tip.
Hey,
Or
guys,
if you get
listen,
too close.
But
listen,
do turn your
listen.
gain. I am gonna lie. This is my full time job.
Listen,
turn
guys,
your
listen,
gain
listen.
down a little bit now too.
But
That
listen. I gotta tell you, I am legally blind and disabled. All right, it has nothing to do with my ears, but a lot to do with my eyes.
It happens.
So guess what? Sometimes I put my shirt inside out. Sometimes this mic is backwards. It happens.
That was awesome.
All
That
right.
was awesome.
And the fact that we didn't notice until like now.
I didn't notice, and I'm in front of the mic.
Happy Good Friday, y'all.
It's better to be backwards than upside down because then you know you'd really have a problem. I mean,
All right,
if it was upside down,
so the mic sounds normal now.
this sounds good, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, you sound really
You
good
sound
now.
much better.
Okay,
Something.
okay. All right, so okay, back to the demonstration. This is one. Okay, this is me without EQ.
This is me with EQ. Is there any difference? 1, 2, testing, mic check. Any difference? Those who know audio. Yes, CJ. No
You sound like
difference?
you really are live from like the Mushroom Kingdom.
I am alive from the Mushroom Kingdom.
Wahoo!
You sound like you're live from the Mushroom Kingdom. You're like, but you're going through a warp pipe.
I am. How about now? Am I going through a warp pipe?
Beautiful, beautiful.
No.
Right there. Stay there. Don't touch
Clear.
nothing. Just stay there. Don't move.
Anyway, Aver Media mics, they are awesome. They are very affordable. If you would like to pick up your podcast mic, or for any reason at all, you do conferences at work, there is a link in the description down below. Use Mike Odyssey to get a discount at checkout. You will not find better quality for affordable price. And that was our ad. Let's move on to today's main topic. All right, so
I love y'all.
Guess what? We're gonna be canceled by Avery. We're gonna be canceled by Avery Media on our very first sponsorship.
No, it's okay. They're listening.
They're gonna
They're
say,
listening
"You know
to
what?"
Paul, Joycey, and me.
They're gonna send us a bill for the mic after this.
You know,
Who
where
is
it's like
we?
9
Who
out,
with
of,
us?
9 out of 10 dentists recommend. They're gonna be like 3 out of 4 podcasts.
3 out of 4 podcasters.
Excuse me.
Anyway, you know what?
Okay.
Let's continue with the topics today. So that today we are talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. We had a leaker named Nash Weedle. Everybody knows who Nash Weedle is. He's a Nash, full of Weedles, and basically he's a Spanish leaker inside the world of Nintendo. I think he's responsible for leaking Metroid Prime, Metroid Dread.
Yep.
Metroid Dread, and a couple of other pieces of information like Nintendo Directs and information within the Directs. And so he has an okay track record, right? I would say 70% out of 100, which is not bad for a leaker, because things
He's
normally
the same leaker we talked about last week when we were
Yeah.
talking about going beyond and going Super Saiyan. That was from Nash.
going beyond, going Super Saiyan.
Yeah, he said that the Switch 2 got that software patch.
Yeah.
That'll be able to go beyond.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
the same leaker.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was also the one who actually mentioned that update that was issued to Nintendo dev kits, and it was supposed to be the first dev kit update that had to do with DLSS upscaling. So Nintendo was demonstrating to developers how it would work. Right? They have a Switch. They have their games. They develop for the console, and then how much more DLSS and these AI upscaling through updates could help their games, in the long run. So that's what Nash Weedle brought up in the last leak. Now, this week, I think it was 2 days ago, he was present in the podcast because he had a lot more to say. He basically mentioned, "Hey, there's too much I have to say. I'm actually going to go on a podcast and talk about all those leaks, and that way I can just get rid of it all instead of just writing this giant list on Twitter." And so that's what he did. He went on this podcast called Behind the Games. It's a Spanish podcast. Also, you guys didn't know I'm Puerto Rican, so I know English and Spanish. And so I went on the podcast, I heard the entire podcast and took my notes of everything that he brought to all the leaks that he brought. Right now, again, these are leaks, these are rumors. They're not, although he does have a 70% track record, 70-25, pretty good track record. These are also leaks, or not rumors, not leaks. A leak is something we can actually kind of confirm that's real. But the rumors of the Nintendo Switch 2, and I think that a lot of these rumors sound pretty good. They sound pretty good. Some of them mostly explain why Nintendo behind the scenes delayed their plans to release the console this year. I know, guys, I know what you're saying. Mike, how can Nintendo delay something that hasn't been announced? Well, they haven't announced. They haven't delayed the release date. They delayed some plans they had for a release period of time, right? In 2024, summer 2024, winter 2024, whatever. They delayed their plans to release the system this year, and so I'm going to go over the list here. I'm going to go over the list of certain things, and then I'm going to give it out to the podcast crew for your thoughts on each and every one of them. The first one I'm going to skip because it's the same thing as last week. He just went over the software update, what that meant for developers, and I just explained it again, so you guys already know about that. It had to do with the DLSS and what the benefits. The second one is a major one, and it could explain why Nintendo delayed the Nintendo Switch 2, but I personally don't know how much I believe this. Nash Weedle mentioned that part of the Nintendo of the Switch 2 delay could have been due to the fact that Nintendo was going to give us a camera in the system. Okay. And this camera was going to be used for AR and VR. So AR, artificial artificial reality, AR, and then VR, virtual reality. So AR basically puts things inside in the real world. VR immerses you inside a world itself. So AR kind of, for example, if you're playing Pokemon Go, you have AR, you can actually play Pokemon Go in the real world, and then VR, you need a headset and stuff like that, and it immerses you. Apparently, this was going to be a feature for the Nintendo Switch 2. They removed the camera because I guess they couldn't really make it work that well. And so it is planned that this will probably be available in a mid-gen update of the Nintendo Switch 2. That's what basically he mentioned in the podcast. You guys want to comment on that, or do you want to proceed and then comment at the end?
I don't
I don't
speak
know.
tech.
I would say if that is true, I think not doing it up front was a better choice. And ideally not doing it at all.
Okay.
Because when you create a system that has features, and I don't mean HD features, I mean features that other ones don't have, the second that you're cutting your market down in half. And so like you look at the Xbox One, it launched with the Kinect mandatory. And a lot of people didn't necessarily like that. But because of that, you got some games with Kinect features built in. Then never mind, the Kinect isn't mandatory anymore. The second it wasn't mandatory, the developers are like, okay, well, we're not going to utilize this because a good portion of our audience probably won't have this thing. And so, like, it's cool for niche games, but if it's an actual system and not an add-on that you can get with a specific game, if it's an actual system with a camera that's coming mid-gen, I feel like that's, you already have your main base having the system that doesn't have the camera. So if you're a developer, why are you going to put those camera features in your game? It seems like it could be wasted energy. So I agree with you. I think that leak probably is not true. And if it is true, I would say that maybe the delay and not putting it in right away wasn't even going to be a mid-gen upgrade thing. Maybe it was just them changing their mind and saying, well, we don't want this in our system after all.
Yeah. And Paul mentioned something earlier in the podcast a while back about AR VR. Paul, you want to hit on that note?
Well, one of the thoughts was on the VR side of thing is like, if Nintendo or if anybody really wanted to have VR be this big push, it would have to be in every device from the get-go and not something that you bought later on. Because even if you have a 114 million installed base PlayStation 4, several million are at best going to buy that VR. Even if PS5 goes on to selling 80 million, just a handful are going to buy that. Same thing with Nintendo Switch. Labo, 3 million people are going to buy that. But if Nintendo Switch 2, if Nintendo wanted to have VR really become a thing, they would have a little cheap plastic dongle set that would attach to your eyes, and it would just be a simple little VR thing, kind of like Labo's tech, where, just a lens morphing and stuff like that, but a plastic thing. Call it $6 worth of, incorporating this into the box. Stick to the Nintendo Switch 2 in it. Probably has a better screen. Maybe it's 1080p. Maybe it's brighter. It's going to have better image quality. We know that regardless. And you would have these detachable Joy-Con version 2s or whatever. And then every single Nintendo Switch 2 owner from the get-go and for eternity would have access to that. So every developer would know from the beginning, it's not going to be a waste of time making this because 1% of my audience buying the system is going to buy it. And then you would finally have the proper giant evolution in VR because everyone would know I could have a mode or not. I could make a whole game in it or not, but the whole audience has access to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pretty easy way to go. And it's not like shoehorning it in. It's literally just put a piece of plastic on top of it. And like, that's fine. Maybe later, if you want to sell, we have a secondary VR apparatus for those that want to have it as just a one cohesive experience, and it, tethers by Bluetooth, and that's its own few $100 advice to have a more luxury luxurious kind of setup where it's the same kind of games, but now played in a higher fidelity with greater, range and less blacks, more visual space. Like fine, but do that secondary, But I don't know if that's Nintendo's hook that they wanted to do, but it's something they could do. As far as like, will the system have augmented reality features, AR, or some other kind of camera? I'm pretty sure that they've been toying around. How do we make it different enough beyond just being more visually powerful? That way they can satisfy that whole checkmark thing. Because you're going to see it at Walmarts and GameStops and Amazon. What does the Nintendo Switch do? Play Nintendo Switch cartridges. What does Nintendo Switch 2 do? Plays Switch cartridges and OG Switch cartridges. Does the Switch play it? X. It's going to have those green checks and those X marks along the way. They want to make the new Nintendo Switch attractive, has a camera on it for chatting with friends or not. But like, they don't want to just throw a bunch of junk out there that no one's going to use, because then that's an extra cost. And Nintendo likes to sell things for a profit. I think for every system of theirs, except for the Nintendo 3DS, well, after the ambassador program, Nintendo sells a system at a profit. Sometimes it's like $7 to $12 per console, but they make a profit. They don't take the hit on the system itself. And if it's like, well, this camera is going to become an extra $8.19. Oh, and this little IR blaster is going to be an extra $3.12 times all these, things. That's cutting into their, bottom line, and maybe it's just unnecessary. So it'll be interesting to see what does the system have in the end, and if it's anything more than just more powerful, is more included in the box. I like Nintendo because I think that they're the creative wizards of the entertainment industry, of the video game industry. They are the magicians. They create the magic, the analog sticks, the rumble packs, the motion controls, the touch screen, quite a bit. And also on the software side, but in the hardware side, they're really innovative. And not everything always sticks, but a lot of it usually does and gets replicated. Even the D-pad and four face button layout. So you think of it and like, dang, a lot of it has, the Nintendo Switch, just the very model of that kind of hybrid system, even. So I never want them to lose that creativity, but Nintendo Switch is such a perfect system that I think so many people would be so happy with it just being beefier. But Nintendo also knows, dang, that's not our lineage. And in the last 6 years, what has happened? Other beefier non-Nintendo Switch systems have come out. So Nintendo may feel pressured we can't just have a beefier one because that exists. However, you could always argue, but you're the only Nintendo Switch 2 that has Nintendo IP on it. That's different. No one else is going to know. Steam Deck or whatever is going to have Mario Odyssey 2 or whatever it is, right? But yeah, that's a little bit of a tangent side thought, but
yeah. So
I feel like
I mean, go ahead. You guys want to say?
Oh, you're good, Mike.
So going back to the AR VR thing, and the VR camera thing. That's why I wanted to go to you, Paul, because you mentioned something regarding if they do
Mike, back up from the mic a little bit.
If they do have a VR
perfect.
if they do have a VR headset, then it would be included. And the only way I see this part of the rumor or leak being true is if they weren't able to make it work correctly, right? It just wasn't working for them, and they removed it from the box, right? And so that caused a delay, because now they have to kind of shift the marketing a little bit from having that part of the console, to just having the Nintendo Switch itself. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, this kind of could go in hand with what Paul suggested of the Nintendo Switch 2 being actually part of the VR headset, being part of the Switch already, coming in together with the box. I remember when the NES came out, that they had that little lightning gun or whatever. the Zapper that came with the box, and that was just made it better because then they included Mario with Duck Hunt with the two games in one, and that was just so much fun, you know. Joyce, do you have any thoughts on this AR VR camera removal or not being part of it and this causing the delay?
Does Switch 2 play Zelda?
It does. Hopefully. Can you imagine if it
Then
did
yay, Switch 2. Seriously, y'all know I'm just not good with tech. I don't understand it. I'm just like, yay. I mean, so I'm not really into, I personally do want to piggyback a little bit off what Paul was saying. I do understand the whole thing about them wanting to be creative. I think the Switch was almost too perfect an idea that I almost wonder where they can go from here. But I also think that now's not really the best time to move into wacky Nintendo territory. And I mean wacky in a very respectful and a very good way. Because the Wii was pretty wacky. The Nintendo 64 controller was really wacky. The GameCube was, I mean, Nintendo does not have just a box. You know what I mean? It's always something special about it. It's something that differentiates it from everybody else. But I don't think now is the best time to move from literally the perfect thing. Now everybody's happy. You can play in handheld. You can play on your TV. You can do whatever you want. Either way, everybody's happy. One system. That's it. But it wouldn't hurt things to make it a little beefier, just a little bit more beef, you know, little sirloin, you know, and make it backwards compatible. I don't really think that it needs a camera. Maybe it's the old auntie in me, but I just kind of think that can lead to more concerns than fun, which is what Nintendo strives for. And if it plays Zelda, I don't care. Make it out of a toaster. I don't care. I just want more Zelda. So that's all I kind of care about. So that's how I feel about it.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on here. Next leak point that Weedle made in the podcast had to do with apparently he spent the first part of the podcast talking about the reasons for that he's heard could be potential reasons for delay, and it's that they decided to do an OLED model at launch alongside the LED model, which also to me, like, really, I don't think that is something. I think that if we are going to get that LED model, which by the way, LED works perfectly. I actually have a device that I'm working on a review for that is right here. If you guys if you're listening to the podcast, I'm holding up this screen provided by G Story. This device here is an LED, but it's using the latest LED. It's using the latest LED, and if you guys know, I'm legally blind, so I can never play in handheld mode. This to me is a blessing in disguise right here, and it's so super light and everything. But the screen itself is LED. It's not OLED or anything like that, and it looks phenomenal. You guys will see you'll see it in the review video. But I feel like if Nintendo is going to use LED to cut costs, we don't need an OLED screen right now. I think the most important part, of course, is making the Switch a lot more powerful. But apparently, the reason for the delay, according to NetSuite, could be that Nintendo is also planning to release an OLED version alongside the LED model, the LCD model, kind of LED LCD model. Let's see here. We have another. Then we get into the good part of the actual. Let's see here. The good part of the actual leak, and it's that backwards compatibility will be heavily marketed in the Nintendo Switch 2 market kind of thing. Basically, they're working on the marketing for Nintendo Switch 2, and that backwards compatibility will be a thing that they will focus on a lot, both physical and digital.
And so he said that developers have confirmed to him that the system is backwards compatibility both physically and digitally, and the backwards compatibility will be heavily marketed when promoting the Nintendo Switch 2. Let's see here. We already talked about backwards compatibility. We didn't have to go over that. He mentioned two types of Yep. He mentioned two types of upgrades when it comes to how games will look and perform on Switch 2. The first upgrade will be done by the developer, right? If they are developing straight directly for the Switch 2, then they have all the tools they need to make them sure the game looks the best, right? Hardware and software, and then another upgrade via DLSS and AI upscaling that Nintendo will provide on top of that to make sure that the game looks even better. So that kind of, I was like, wow, so that games are going to look amazing, right? And this goes back to when they showcased the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, right? And behind the scenes at Gamescom, and they also showed the Matrix. Is it the Matrix? That Matrix little demo there on how games looked. And this is where I want to throw it out to you guys. Two types of upgrades. First, we have the developer, right, making the game. They have a beefier console, so they can actually add more to make it look better. And then we have Nintendo on top of that via software, DLSS, and NVIDIA, making the game even look even more pretty. What do you guys think about that?
What part?
Go for it, Paul.
All of it. LED, I think it's fine.
No, the LED thing we went past by because we were already spoken about that before. But what we're talking about now is the upgrades. The upgrade, the upgrade via the developer, right? If the next Mario game is gonna look amazing because Nintendo is developing it to look amazing on the Switch. But on top of that, they can continue to provide updates via DLSS to make the games even look better. So that's basically the where I want to hear you guys' opinions on
the future of game development. Using more and more modern tools to make development easier, not necessarily cutting corners, but it's the next form of the Super FX chip from back in the day on the SNES, or it's the next form of the 4 megabyte expansion pack for the Nintendo 64. It is the next thing, and that is now digitally via hardware, via software, via AI, DLSS. It all sounds like a bunch of fancy mumbo jumbo, and it is comparatively compared to the past technology. It's light years away in terms of advancement, but at the end of the day, not to say gimmick in a bad way, but it's another gimmick. It's another tool. Like I've heard on your videos before, it's a different way how to get from A through D. You're not going directly through B and C to get there. You're finding a different way to get to D if you're going, in those 4 letters. It's not a cheat. It's just something modern, something smart. And I think that, not having as much pure RAM or pure teraflops is going to be fine when you are making up the stuff with DLSS and stuff like that. I don't know if you've played, if any of you have tried out that Matrix Revolutions demo. I forgot what the subtitle is, but that Matrix demo, but it's very impressive. And
it is.
I don't even know if any games this generation look that good yet, which is kind of annoying to think, like, already talking about PS5 Pro and Xbox Series X's successor. Dude, we have yet to tap into those consoles. Like, don't worry about it. But if Nintendo Switch 2 can indeed play that, like, it's going to be just fine. And if it goes by some other means, that's some kind of live, as time goes on, you could, periodically add more power to the system or just unlock more potential from it, like going Super Saiyan 3 and beyond. Hey, we don't need to worry about that. Some people will look at specs and worry themselves like, oh no, it's this, but forget about it. Just look at the game, and if that looks good to you, don't worry about how the developers are getting there. But this is the next wave of Super FX, of blast processing, of expansion pack.
Yeah, and it also helps the current games, right? It also helps the Nintendo Switch games because backwards compatibility is confirmed apparently, and so
games that come from Nintendo Switch, so Nintendo Switch 2, are going to get that boost in quality with that AI upscaling. So, what do you think, Zach?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's pretty blah, 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 blah. I can't tell I talk for a living. It's pretty
Very
par for the
deep.
course at this point. We have, I think in 2021, Xbox started supporting AMD's version of DLSS, which is FSR, which is like Fidelity Super Resolution or whatever, to be able to upscale from 1080 to 4K and whatnot. PS5 Pro has its own proprietary, because of course they do. They're the Apple of gaming. They have their own proprietary DLSS equivalent that they've been using. And so, it's kind of like, I've always been a little annoyed. Like, it's like two-sided coin. Like, I initially would always be annoyed that Nintendo would come out after these other systems and still not be as powerful, or not be as this, or not be as that when there's more time. But on the other side of that coin, by coming out second and letting others innovate, remember when the first OLED TVs were $100,000 back in 2011, 2012, or whatever, 2010, I don't know.
Yeah.
And, LG's basically been doing that every year with something, or every other year with something that's not an OLED. So then they had the roll-up TVs, and those were $100,000. And they just continue to like keep coming out with these new, what was the word that you used, Paul? Niche, or not niche.
Tricks, gimmicks.
They keep coming out with these new gimmicks. But when one person or one company does that, it drives it down for everyone else. And so I'm kind of okay that the PS5 Pro and, this Series X of an Xbox are already out doing this stuff.
Wait. When did the PS5 Pro come out?
Are already in development.
Potentially on the way.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm kind of okay with that, because Nintendo doesn't have to innovate. That's not really the right word, but they don't have to develop a whole new technology. They just have to take advantage of these existing technologies and implement it and improve it. And, it's like you said, Paul, we haven't even tapped into the potential of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X at this point. And, you open up an original Super Nintendo cartridge and it's almost empty. I don't know if you've seen that. Like, you look at the original Super Nintendo cartridges, the board inside of it's only like this big. Then you open up, one of the finals, Yoshi's Island, the board inside of it fills up the entire cartridge, because as more and more time with the system, as developers had more and more time with the system, they were learning more and more of its tricks and able to do better and better things with it. And so I'm excited to see what Nintendo does with these new technologies that are new, but they've been out long enough for Nintendo to definitely have some optimizations in mind to bring it into this small form factor.
Yeah, I agree.
You brought a fun memory. My friends and I used to flip our N64 cartridges upside down and feel them by weight, and we could tell without the labels which was which. Because, Super Mario 64 had it was a 64 megabit game, but Resident Evil 2 was a 512 megabit game, and it was heavier. And then Ocarina of Time was in there, and Shadows of the Empire was a little bit more than Mario 64. I'm not mistaken. Like, you could. So with the Super Nintendo ones, we did as well, but really the N64 was like, there was quite a bit of heft difference in that, and yeah. You played Street Fighter Alpha 2, it was heavier than Super Mario World.
Yeah, well, that's like, I always forget that Yoshi's Island had 3D elements in it.
Yeah.
Like, they put a chip on the board just to handle 3D, So when you get they're not thwomps, it's just regular parts of the wall that just fall down and stuff that you have to avoid. Like, that's actual 3D elements in a Super Nintendo game.
Pretty cool.
And like, that just shows beginning of a generation versus end of a generation.
I love it.
How much you can grow. So I'm excited to see where the Switch 2 starts. And I know this is like a whole 7-8 years away, but I can't wait for people to really learn how to fine tune the Switch 2 and get every last drop of juice out of it.
I've always
Yeah.
been a fan of games that shouldn't run on a system running on a system. Game,
Yes.
you know,
Doom
when
on a
when
calculator.
when Sega Saturn and PlayStation were out, and Street Fighter Alpha 2 was running on the 6-year-old Super Nintendo. Wow, you know, just
That's
an
great. Yeah.
example. Or even Mortal Kombat 1, a brand new game here in 2024 or late 2023 that came out on Nintendo Switch.
Mhm.
Now, with some visual sacrifices, but still quite competent, especially after the patches. But yeah,
Mhm.
fun stuff.
And what do you think, Yoshi? Like games basically becoming better and better via software. So if you have a game at the beginning of the Nintendo Switch, when you buy your Switch 2, you get Tears of the Kingdom, Hyrule Warriors, that new game for and also then you buy at the beginning of the line, and at the end of it looks like actually looks better by a software update. Is this something you're looking forward to?
Does it play Zelda? Okay. Seriously. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but the chat is like on fire, cracking me up with different names for the console, and they're all like Zelda associated names. And so good on you, chat. You guys are funny. Here's the thing. I do agree with that. It is fun to kind of see. It's almost, you know what? It's kind of in a way like the Switch is kind of like the little engine that could. And and now that we're at the finish line, I'm so proud of the little guy. In fact, here's my little guy, or one of them. I got like 3. I'm so proud of this little thing. It's let's keep it all real. Breath of the Wild was something to behold when we first saw that big trailer and the music and all the and all the things. And then when Tears of the Kingdom came out, I'll be very honest, I wasn't a fan of how the trailer was chopped up. But when I got the game, I was like, it's a little intimidating, in fact. I don't know when I've played a game that big and that gorgeous. Now I know people are saying, well, there's frame rate issues. Okay, well, stop diving directly from the sky all the way down to the depths. Okay?
You'll never make me stop. Never make me stop.
Well, okay, well, sometimes it is really super convenient. But the point is, but to see where we went from that, and I said, and that's one of the things that kind of drive me a little bit nuts when people say, oh, it's, when people still say it's just Breath of the Wild DLC, it's just Breath of the Wild expanded. This is not. I see the difference. I see the visual difference. I see the details. I see just the fact that, I can see that Link's hair is just all in the wind and just flowing and everything, honey.
Can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
We just made 100 viewers.
Yay!
We got there. 101 viewers. Right now we have 101 viewers. We have this is between X, YouTube, Facebook, and Paul Gill Network. 101 viewers. Thank you guys so much for watching us. I think this is the first time we break 100. So I wanted to kind of. So thank you everybody watching on X, watching on right now. There's a battle between X and YouTube. Right now they're like tied neck and neck. And then on Facebook, we have a couple people watching, and of course, we have people watching on Paul Gill Network as well. So, thank you guys so much for being here. Awesome.
Thank you. So all I'm saying is, I do agree that I am very anxious. Not anxious, excuse me. I'm excited to see the next Switch, the new baby, grow up. The next little engine that could get to the finish line. It's you can't help but be a little bit proud of it. You know what I mean? And when they say the Switch got games.
Oh, yeah, they do got
first
games.
Party, second party, third party, indie, and shovelware. We've got it all over here. So and what I also look forward to is that whether as fanboys and girls, we're not unrealistic fanboys and girls, but unrealistic fanboys and girls, whether they like it or not, Xbox and PlayStation got mad respect for Nintendo. because
Yeah.
I don't think they never think Nintendo's gonna ever be in the same conversation as them, and Nintendo has been in the same conversation as them, not necessarily for power reasons and everything else, but I don't know if anybody's been noticing. And we're not going to do console wars. All gamers are play what you like, guys. It's your money. Play what you like. But I don't know if anybody's been noticing some of the discourse that's been happening. Every little thing like on a PlayStation game that's not absolutely realistically perfect, they pick apart. And some people are saying, we've hit the ceiling with just perfect graphics. How much more perfect do you want it to be? Let's just make great games. I'm sorry, but I'm old school. And what the original Mario had, 6 levels, or was it 9?
Super Mario Bros.
Super Mario Bros. It had
no,
8
they're
worlds.
the first one. The first one.
Oh, you mean like the Mario Brothers with the little with the little tunnels?
Well, no, the first one on the NES, the very first Mario Brothers.
Oh, yeah,
Eight worlds.
It had 8 worlds, and each world
8
had
worlds.
four levels to it.
So what I mean is that was it. And let's be honest, most of them looked exactly alike. And how much fun did we all have with that? So the fact that we can have a Mario Odyssey, we can have a Splatoon, we can have, of course, I got to shout out my girl Bayonetta. We, not necessarily Nintendo, but y'all get it. The fact that we even have these options, I mean, good God, where else are we going to go? This is amazing. So that's the part I'm excited for. I'm excited for the games, and I'm excited to see what the next.
I did the math. I did the math.
What does it say? 32?
It says that it's trying to say 32, but it's not saying it.
Pull it back a little bit.
32 level.
32 levels total.
A little doggy right there.
And then we
little doggy.
little
Doggy.
Your doggy is very cute.
Yeah, 32 levels in Super Mario Brothers. And then divided between 8 worlds.
And then all this little secrets, that's where, in my opinion, now don't get me wrong, it is kind of fun, seeing what kind of gimmick they're going to come up with. But really, the gimmicks are the games, all the little secrets. You can always find something in just about any Nintendo game. Or, we talk about Ocarina of Time a lot. Y'all know I love my Zelda. The little secrets, it took forever before the internet really blew up, but it took forever. I think I was on my 3rd playthrough of Ocarina of Time when I looked at that part in the castle when Link first meets Zelda, and I'm like, there's pictures of Mario and Yoshi in here. What the heck? Those little things,
right.
That's where Nintendo shines.
Yeah.
So I kind of hope going forward, we all eventually get away from the graphics debate, the frame rates and 30 FPS and 60 FPS. Look, does the game run? Does it work? Okay. Is it fun? Let's play it. I hope we get away from that and we can start really just saying, hey, games are good, or this game isn't good. And it's not because of graphics. It's not good because it's just not good.
I like that.
So,
I like that because
there's my rant.
I agree with you. I agree 100%. I think that's one of the reasons why I like Spider-Man 2 so much and Spider-Man 1, because there's so much fun to play, right? And yeah, they look great, but I forget about how they look, and I just love how the gameplay and the mechanics and the story and the little NPCs walking around, and then you're swinging from rooftop to rooftop. The fact that you can play New York, go on top of the Empire State Building, all the way to the top, just jump down. That's just fun, the mechanic of a game. And so I think Nintendo does a good job, and also kind of working and bringing fun into the mechanics of a game. I know Shigeru Miyamoto, he loves mechanics more than he loves story. He loves how to play the game, the fun within the game more than. And this is coming from him. This is not from me. He said it in an interview. I'm not big on story. He's big on.
He said it a few times.
Yeah, on the mechanics, on how you play a game. How fun is the game? And I think that's they spoke about that at GDS as well, the Game Developers Conference, on why is Mario Wonder so good and why Tears of the Kingdom so good. The mechanic within the game, the fusing within the Zelda games, and the new techniques, right? How they come up with all that stuff and put it on a game that runs on the Switch, just like Josie was saying. When they can do things on the Nintendo Switch that leaves you like. Remember when it came out, people were like, "Oh," they're making developers feel like,
a little bit of shame of how it pushed the envelope. It pushed the envelope a little bit, and hopefully inspired other developers to kind of hey, if we can do a little more, let's just push it just a little more. Give it a little extra, for each game. And I think that's the future of it. I agree with Joycey. Graphics, they're good, but they're not the end all be all. I think a good game, a good story could make any game look great.
And one more thing I wanted to say real quick.
Yeah.
I know Miyamoto has. Look, when you start getting my age and older, you start getting set in your ways. But I believe we're seeing a transition for Zelda where that's going to be their. Now, don't get me wrong. Splatoon actually has a really good story.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, I'm just so busy jumping into live matches that I forget about that. But I think where they're serious and they're mature kind of game, I think that's the direction Zelda's going in. So I think in the future, maybe not the exact next game, but as the series continues, we're going to start seeing more story because it's too much of a demand. Because we got a much beefier story, even though Breath of the Wild story was good. We got a much more in your face and obvious story. You didn't have to go hunt for it or anything like that. It was kind of just, this is where you can go get the story if you want it, kind of thing. So I think that's going to change, but I don't see that happening for all their IPs, and that's good. That's okay. I don't need a deep Mario reciting monologues and poetry and getting deep. I don't need that. Go jump on a platform.
Yeah. I think somebody trashed me on I think it was Twitter one time when I said that Breath of the Wild. When I said Breath of the Wild, I remember I said Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are basically the same game. What changes is that instead of you climbing those towers that come up from the ground, you have different types of towers that you still have to activate in order to activate the map. They represent the same thing. The shrines in Tears of the Kingdom are the same exact kind of what you see in Breath of the Wild, but they're a little more intricate. There's more to do inside of them than in Breath of the Wild, but they have the same exact kind of formula, right? In Breath of the Wild, you had the memories. In Tears of the Kingdom, you had the tears that gave you the Zelda's memories. Yeah, memories. Yeah. And so they had basically the same kind of formulaic thing there. Different story. We had the imprisoning war shoved in our faces 4 times from different.
Technically, it was 5.
It was 5. Yeah, it's 5 exactly.
Because it's 5 temples total.
Yeah, from 5 different perspectives, but it was basically the same exact story. So I love the game. I love the fact you can build anything, but I think that was the highlight of it, building.
But we got the crazy laughing Ganon though.
Yeah, Ganon was
nobody
awesome.
That. So that's what he looks like. I mean, we've had laughing Ganon before, but still, really quick, I got to give a shout out to Sightless 2019. He has been like, he or she, I'm sorry, I'm not sure. They've been cracking me up in the chat and saying some really, really sweet things. And I wanted to really kind of highlight this one real quick. He went to PAX. I've been reading his chats. So I'm following the story. He went to PAX and he was able to meet a couple of developers at Nintendo. And he said, I told him when I was younger that reading was hard and I didn't want to, but Zelda games made me read more. Sightless 2019, I don't know if you know this, I am a very, very, very big reader. Reading is probably one of the only things I love more than video games. I use large print font, so Zelda games made me read as a kid, and that makes me happy. That makes my little librarian inside of me and my little video gamer inside of me just extremely happy. So I'm glad to hear that.
That's nice.
Okay,
that's very nice.
So I had to shout that out.
No, but that's nice. Sweet. That's a good shout out. It's a good shout out. So to recap, we got backwards compatibility. He spoke about Nash Riedel, spoke about backwards compatibility. That's gonna be very heavily marketed. I hope it is because I'm pretty sure they're gonna market the older games with better visuals with the AI upscaling. Let's see what else here. Okay, that's the same exact thing. He mentioned that Disney was very heavily involved in Switch 2. Especially with Star Wars. They're developing a Star Wars game specifically for Switch 2. And that's exciting, for Star Wars fans to have a game that's going to be featured on Switch 2 on launch day on brand new Star Wars games that will take advantage of all the new capabilities of Switch 2. And talking about capabilities, this
I think this is the most exciting one of all, right? First thing he mentioned, let's see here, LED, blah, blah, blah. The Joy-Cons of the Nintendo Switch, okay? First thing, they're not going to be called Joy-Cons anymore. That's good news.
Are they going to be sad cons?
Sad cons. So basically, if you guys remember, on this channel, we discovered a patent a long time ago that showed like these Joy-Cons are very, very different type of joystick, right? That it was just very different. It was they look different, they act different, and they had a lot to do with haptic feedback, right? And so what Nash Vito was confirming is that he took this patent over to one of the developers, and his one developer gave him more information. This haptic feedback on the Nintendo joystick was going to be so good that if you're walking through sand, you should feel it when you're pushing on the joystick. So if you have a joystick and you move it to the side, you should feel some resistance. So basically, something like what PlayStation 5 did with their triggers, Nintendo is doing with their joysticks. They're doing some type of technology, some type of haptic feedback, where you would feel like you're actually underwater. You would feel that kind of feeling. If you are riding a car, like if you are hitting a gas, you would actually feel that too. If you were, basically something similar to PS5's little haptic thingy here, but on the joysticks. And of course, they will not be called Joy-Cons any longer. And not only that, but that was the gimmick for this Nintendo Switch 2. And like the system itself, Nintendo is taking Apple Moves. Apple Moves is iterations of the same console, not drastically changing it from like they used to do, from GameCube to 64 to GameCube, from GameCube to Wii. It's like a drastic change. What they're doing is they're doing iterations of upgrades, on what is already successful, but adding something even more special to it. I think that's great because first thing, I've seen Nintendo patents regarding their version of what's that technology? That new technology, Hall Effect joysticks. Mm-hmm. I've seen patents for that, and I've also seen patents regarding another type of joystick with haptic feedback that would actually make it feel, thingy. The big thing here from Nash Vito is that he actually reached out to one of the developers or he knew was making a big game for Switch 2. He asked whether that is part of the Nintendo Switch 2. The response he got was, that's the only thing we can't talk about due to NDA.
Real quick, Joshua Erickson made a good point. He said that would be cool feedback during Mario Kart. And it's like, oh, that would be cool.
Yeah. And basically games that require you to kind of, a cart, a water cart, anything that requires any type of force, anything that pushes against you, or so I'm guessing that Nintendo Switch Sports could be like a good game that you could see that a lot, but I have a question. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to say I have a question. Didn't they already try that with like HD Rumble? Because there's certain
Rumble, yeah, HD Rumble is kind of like that, and like with the Joy-Con, like we hear stuff here.
Well, the reason I was asking is because I feel like when I play certain games, it's not a huge difference, but there's a slight difference. I'll use Splatoon as a main example. In Splatoon, there's certain weapons. Of course, there's certain weapons that do different things. So some weapons are literally heavy, but because they have a bigger damage output if you work it right. But when you're holding the controller, whether it's the Joy-Cons or even the Pro controller, there's certain weapons that actually feel like, okay, I feel like I'm carrying this heavier weapon because but then again, I don't know if that's mental, because some people tell me I'm completely nuts, and then other people that I've played Splatoon with, they're like, no, I kind of see what you're saying, but because the whole demeanor of your character changes depending on what weapon you're carrying. I haven't necessarily noticed it in much other things, but when Splatoon, I really feel like I notice it. So is that a thing, guys?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. I
Okay.
remember when. Yeah, I remember.
Cool.
The thing is that one of the games that I loved the most at the beginning of the Switch life was I think was it
Switch.
yeah 1-2 Switch
One of
where
my favorites still.
you actually counted how many like marbles were inside and things because man, that's amazing technology that the market did not take advantage of, you know. And to add to that point, Joycey, you know, in the Nintendo's introduced the motion with the Wii, right? And so what they did was they continued the motion here. We still have we still have the same exact. This is basically a combination of a Wiimote with a controller that's been upgraded with that haptic feedback, right? And so to add to what they're doing now is that I think that they will still have the same exact haptic feedback within the controller HD Rumble. Plus, they're actually giving us another version of HD Rumble, maybe like an updated
Another
HD
layer.
Rumble. Yeah, another layer
Mhm.
exactly that involves now the joysticks. You know what I mean? Which I
Okay.
think is the last thing that they needed to work on because the joysticks were the worst on Nintendo Switch, right? So yeah, throwing it out to you guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm excited for that. You know, any improvement is welcome.
Mhm.
And also too, like I'm a big fan of the gimmicks.
Yeah.
Like I love 1-2 Switch. It's one of my favorite games. There's so
Mhm.
much you can do with it. I love the sandwich eating game with the IR
Yeah.
projector that's on the right Joy-Con,
Yeah.
which actually kind of reminds me of our conversation earlier. You know, how many games utilize the IR projector? Why would they want to put a camera on if they already have one extra piece of technology? Anyway, I digress. But yeah, you know, anything that you can do to make the game more immersive, to give developers more options, I'm always going to be a fan of that. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. And haptic feedback is very cool. You know, playing on my soon to be brother-in-law's PlayStation 5 playing Spider-Man this week, like I wasn't paying too much attention to it,
Mhm.
but there's this one type of mini game where it's not even a mini game really, it's just an activity, but you have to pull the triggers in a certain amount
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
move these things. So there's the left meter and a right meter, and then there's
Mhm.
like a target on it that you want to hit. The more you
Yeah.
squeeze, the further down it goes. The less you squeeze, the back up to the top it goes. And I'm doing that, and I'm trying to like find the spot, and I got it, and I'm holding it. It makes you hold it for like 5 seconds or
Mhm.
whatever. And then when it cleared, all of a sudden my fingers just like went all the way in because it turned the resistance was off once the game ended. And I was like, oh, whoa. I didn't realize how much that was resisting me until it turned it off.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so cool, you know, and that's kind of like sound design. Like
Yeah.
a lot of times the best upgrades are invisible.
Yeah.
So
They're
I
subtle
think
too.
that's a cool one. And if they have that kind of resistance technology in the analog stick,
Mhm.
I could already see the next Mario Kart game adjusting how you do your power slide and how you're wiggling it back and forth and going, you got to push it a
Yeah.
little bit more and plomp, 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 and then having
Mhm.
that resistance in the control stick. Now, if people have carpal tunnel syndrome or if people just are weaker in the thumbs, not as dexterous or have an issue or just don't want it, turn it off and you could do it like that. But you could have the option too. Likewise, in a Mario level where Mario hops into mud and he's sludging and trudging around the mud, pushing forward, like, oh, it takes a little bit more effort to put forward. So you're getting Nintendo always wanted to, and Nintendo always has, as Mr. Miyamoto designed a lot of the controllers for Nintendo consoles, have the controller be an extension of you gaming. We don't want you to play an apparatus to control. We want you to be the apparatus to control. How do we fit the controller in your hands? That's why the SNES became more ergonomic. That's why the Nintendo 64 developed prongs that smooth went into your hands. That's why GameCube had these curved, shoulder buttons and even further ergonomics. And then, we changed things up to be, what does everybody use, comfortable with? A TV remote to point because they wanted to
Mhm.
broaden the, horizon and so forth. And I think what's one more way to make you feel more immersed in the game? They had Rumble Tech, and then they had this, HD Rumble, but these analog sticks that move back and forth, because I do like, PS5's shoulder triggers. It's
Mhm.
super cool.
Mhm.
And if Nintendo has more of that, I could totally see. And rumor has it with the L and R buttons that could possibly roll,
Yeah.
roll or some other kind of convention, or maybe there's a lot of possibility, and hopefully, companies use it, and maybe the Street Fighter that comes ported over doesn't, and maybe there's no need for, the Grand Theft Auto 6 or something like that if that comes over to use it, or maybe some developers will further optimize. But hey, as long as Nintendo uses it, then I'm
Mhm.
happy with that, because I could picture Link having the opportunity to pull back his bow and arrow with that analog stick and feeling that
Mhm.
a little bit tougher. I don't know.
That's exactly what I was thinking about when I thought about
sweet.
Zelda game, like pulling back yeah.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Joycey?
Is Zelda involved? No, seriously.
It is involved.
that time it is.
It is.
It just kind of goes back to what I was saying. It's from what these potential possible links I mean leaks. I'm still hungry. With these potential leaks or rumors. Yeah, rumors.
Yeah.
Could be, it sounds like a much more upgraded Switch, which is a good thing. And like I said, I just wanted to play good games. I'm less harsh about hardware. That's why I've been cracking jokes all night and just eating, because tech just isn't my thing, like I already said.
Yeah. I guess the question is,
but-
how would this feature make the games more fun for you? Where do you see them?
For me,
Yeah, where do you see them
I
taking place?
I see them really shining in a Mario game,
Yeah.
because I think about all the different places Mario goes. Let's take Wonder. Love Wonder so much, so good, right? But all those sand areas and those hot areas, I could see Nintendo being one of the first eventually. I don't think it's going to happen with Switch 2 or 3 or 4, but eventually down the line, I could see them when you go to a cold area, your controller gets a little bit colder whenever they get that technology.
That exists in VR games. That's another type
It
of
doesn't-
haptic feedback. Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't know about tech, so thank you for telling me that. I could see Nintendo doing something like that. So I could see the vision and the progression of these ideas, but I'm much tougher or critical of games. But I think it would really benefit something like Mario or action game Bayonetta. I don't know if we're gonna get another Bayonetta, but that's a whole other story. But I could see a game like that would, you could actually kind of feel the vibration a little bit as as she's shooting and as you're running and as you're flying through the air and all these crazy tricks that she does. I could see that really having a better making the gameplay experience even better. So that's kind of how I look at that.
I just thought of something. When
Can you share it?
when we get it's so funny because it's 100% accurate. Whenever we get the Switch 2 port of Skyrim, that'll be one of the features for the lock picking section.
We have a sightless said, I don't want smell-o-vision because that's okay. Can you imagine the Switch 3? You can smell things now, like anything you can see on screen, you can smell it.
The
I mean, you
Switch
could bring
3
back
Gloom hands
is
smell
the
like,
phone.
y'all.
You could bring back
What do
Cooking Mama.
Cookie Mama is good. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Unless you burn it. I always burn stuff on Cookie Mama.
Or Princess Peach, everything's a cake or everything's something sweet. I would. Yeah, that's definitely not a good idea. That's definitely not a good idea. Everybody will be playing games and baking all the time.
So to recap, we got backwards compatibility. Mentioned that is going to be a big factor when it comes to the marketing. I'm guessing because Oh, well, when you market backwards compatibility, you're marketing to everybody on Switch, right? You say, hey, guess what? You can buy Switch 2, play your game, the games you already own, but they will look better. You know, maybe they'll give you an update, DLC added with it, something, right? We also
Which means they're
got
starting off with a huge library already.
Yeah.
Because what about people?
exactly.
You know, there's at least some people who, you know, 2 people out there who don't even have a Switch. Okay, not 2, but
Mhm.
if they see something a little bit beefier, playing some of the old games and eventually whatever the new games are going to be, I can't wait to see what the new launch game is going to be.
Yeah.
That's going to push them over the edge. Like, okay, so I have 2 brand new games I could play at launch, and then I have all these other games that are going to look amazing. That's bank right there.
Listen, I know. I'm gonna replay Breath of the Wild on Switch 2. I'm gonna replay Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2. I'm gonna play Mario Wonder. I'm gonna replay all those games that already look great on Switch 2 with that AI scaling. I'm there.
Well, also just from an affordability standpoint, even if it's a $400 system, you know, when parents are buying their kid a video game system for Christmas,
They
they
have
get
games already.
games too. And
Yeah.
those games are, you know, $60, $60, $70, $70. So you buy a $300, so you buy a $250 system that's been out for a while,
Mhm.
and 2 games, that still puts you back at $400, where now it's an easier purchase for a lot of people because it's like, oh, you know, I don't know, $400 was just the price point I made up because it's higher than the
Yeah.
Switch's 300.
Yeah.
But you know, now it's like, oh, I can't really afford a new system because I can't afford the games. Now all of a
Mhm.
sudden it's a more swallowable pill if budget's a little tight, because it's like, ooh, I can get this and then already have 100 games.
Mhm. Exactly. I mean, and yeah, that makes perfect sense when it comes to the marketing. A good way to push Switch 2 to people who want to just get a beefier system. Let's see here, backwards compatibility. The joysticks are going to be called something else, and of course that feedback thing. I think that's all we have when it comes to Nash Weedle leaks. I kind of liked the backwards compatibility and the joystick thing. I think those 2 things are great, and I hope that these leaks or rumors, they do make it into the final stage of Nintendo's thingy there. Now, our very last topic is a smaller topic we're gonna go over, but it's because well, taking you back to the first time we heard that Nintendo Switch 2 was delayed, or the plans for Switch 2 were delayed till 2025. This came from a leaker in Brazil, right? The very first person who actually mentioned that the Nintendo Switch 2 was going to be delayed. And so everybody was like, buck wild, crazy. What? No delay, blippity blip, but all of a sudden, here come all these credible resources and leakers and just join the bandwagon and say, yep, I heard the same thing. I heard the same thing. And so this leaker from Brazil instantly gained some credibility because of he or she being the very first one to let us know that the Switch 2 was delayed, right? Soon after that, I'm talking about next day. Wasting no time. Next day, hey, guess what, guys? That's not the only information I got. Guess what? Sometime in the month of March, we're going to get an Indie World showcase, which was, if you guys know what Indie World is basically a Nintendo Direct for smaller indie developers, right? We got the partner showcase where we have bigger developers, Sega, Square Enix. We got the Indie World, which even a one person developer can join Indie World and show their game. And so after that, oh yeah, we're also getting a Nintendo Direct in April. And on top of that, June. Yeah, June is the month where we'll see the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, all coming from the same exact source, because they were the first one to give us the delay and everybody collaborated. Well, everybody was kind of like, okay, great, perfect. So including myself, all content creators jumped on the news. We shared it. We made our prediction episode. We made our what games we want to see episodes. But now it is March 29th. March 29th. And there is no Indie World showcase
as of yet, and I've never seen Nintendo do an Indie World Showcase on Saturday. I mean, anybody seen Nintendo do like any type of activity like that on Saturday? Right? I know. Business in Japan they take it very seriously. They don't work on weekends. Nothing on weekends. It's like Monday, even Monday. Sometimes Monday. You know? Okay, Paul.
Mario Day was on a Sunday, so it's not entirely impossible to get something from them, like a Twitter drop. But I think a Nintendo Direct Mini or an Indie World, I think it's a little unlikely to get this weekend.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I wouldn't say impossible, but I would say Nintendo could.
We are. Nintendo's off script already this year, so they're completely off script. They're not even following what they normally do. So
I forgot about that Twitter drop until you said that, but like that's true. That kind of was a direct on its own or a showcase on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Twitter drop was crazy. Remember that was nuts. If they did a Twitter drop tomorrow that functions as the showcase,
Indie World Showcase.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, I mean that. But remember that.
Would they do that though? I feel like indies need all the exposure that they need.
Yeah.
But again, off script.
Yeah, they are. Indie World and that Mario Day little presentation only lasted literally 5 minutes. It was literally a 5-minute video presentation. You know, so. Yeah, that puts into jeopardy the other announcements that this person made, which was the Nintendo Direct in April, and then in June the reveal for the Nintendo Switch 2. What do you guys? I still feel we're getting a Nintendo Direct very soon. We still need the second half of 2024 when it comes to games. What games are we getting? We don't know. Are we getting Nintendo Switch 2? And then for the rest of the year, we don't know. All we know is that so far, the very last game comes out in June. Right? The very last game comes out in June, and this is Luigi's Mansion.
Endless Ocean?
No, Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, Endless
right.
Ocean. Endless Ocean is sharing the month with Paper Mario in May. So right now it is the end of March. March is over. April is coming up. There's nothing planned for April. No games coming in April.
We have 2 days left. Tomorrow's the 30th, and then we go through the 31st. So does it still count if it's on April 1st or 2nd?
Saturday or Sunday? No, it doesn't count. It has to be March.
No, I'm not gonna be that petty.
No, but I'm saying for a leaker to say in March we're getting something, and March passes by and we don't get anything, there's no leeway when it comes to. You know what I mean? There's no leeway when it comes to it came out in April. Let's give them the shout out. It came out not in March.
Dear leaker, or rumor person, I will totally give you leeway because it's. I'm sorry, that's almost the same. It's close enough. Now, if we're talking about like April 10th or something, okay, but April 1st on a Monday or Tuesday or April 2nd, I'd be willing to let that go. I don't know if we're getting it direct.
Yeah.
I don't know what Nintendo's doing.
April is completely open. They can do whatever they want. I mean, it's completely open. We still need.
Do they know what they're doing?
I'm pretty sure they're trolling us. They know exactly what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And I think April's completely open for anything to happen. Even that Switch 2 teaser trailer, maybe a June reveal after that. And then I want to hear what Paul Gale says. Good look, Paul right here. His mind is just kind of like filling up. He has his hand up too, so I want to just give him the opportunity to talk.
Nintendo plans months in advance to make these things. When we see that Nintendo Direct, it's not cut the night before or the week before. It's prepared for weeks and weeks and months before. And they have a general timetable of when they're going to release it. Sometimes those are pegged in, but they could change for world events or they could change for an industry event. So there's always that little bit of a leeway. Things shift, but Nintendo overall, they know well in advance when things are going to happen. And they've got things planned probably far enough out that we would be like, what? That's been in development this whole time even? I had no idea. And Like we look at Labo. Labo is a good example of just something that was cooking behind the scenes, so
Mhm.
different that nobody predicted, nobody expected. It was just dropped and came out of nowhere. And just one example of many, Mario Color Splash, another one. It came out of nowhere. Peak COVID, July 2020, and I think it came out in September. So it was dropped, fully shown, and released in 2 months. Very short window of time. So the same thing as like these, Nintendo Directs, these partner showcases, indie worlds. Could something come out in April? Like we kind of talked about the other week, I think it's a likely month, just as likely as any, not because, based off of tradition and history, it has happened, but rather where they are at now and saying, well, you've got the first half of the year pegged. It wouldn't be bad to have something known about the second half, and April is as good of a time as any because there's no big release. And yeah, I'm still on team April for having a Nintendo Direct or some kind of new announcement where we get some new games in that second half.
Are you raising your hand up like Paul, or are you living with your cat? I can't tell.
No, the dog kept trying to get the mic.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This is the new
wants to-
style.
You couldn't tell he blended in. He was really dark. I was like pushing him
Yeah.
out of the screen.
That's
No,
funny.
he just wants to give us his thoughts on the direct.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure he's a
I'll
leaker.
translate. What he's said something like, but that was basically it. So
That's
Ah.
usually okay. So April 17th, y'all pay attention.
April
That's what the
17th.
doggy said.
17. But I
That was
agree.
big
I think April is. Listen, Nintendo normally announces the beginning of the first of the year in September. Right, that's when they give us the games that come out the beginning of the next year. January, February, March, April, May, in the first half. And then in February, they end the year. They kind of finish up the year. This year, Nintendo did not give us anything last year for this year. And then this year, we got games for the beginning part of this year. And so far, we're getting close. Next month is April. We're not getting anything on April Fools. Okay, no April Fools happening. And then after April comes May. Am I getting it right? It comes May.
Yes.
Good.
So I'm like, that's
Gonna
already
get Mike a Zelda calendar.
I need to get a calendar. I need to get a coffee.
We tired,
So-
y'all.
Another coffee. But after April, like in Monday, come Monday, you can say, hey, next month is May. For those of you in school, vacation is on the way. That's it.
Summer vacation's right around the corner.
Exactly. So it's like, whoa, this year is literally flying by. It is flying by. It's kind of like, it still feels new in 2024, but
Yeah.
we're getting
January was just like 2 weeks ago.
exactly.
How did we
Yeah.
get here?
it's weird because January was 2 weeks ago, but March has been like 5 years.
Yeah, that March has been long.
March has been long.
It has been a long month.
Yeah,
That's wild.
but hey, you never know. You never know. Nintendo might have some. Maybe this is okay. The guy got the Indie World Showcase wrong. The same guy who got the delay of the Switch 5, the Switch 2.
One day.
What year are you in, Mike?
I don't know. I was
Mike
watching
is
this
time traveling and not telling us, guys.
So who knows? What if next month we get the reveal for the Switch 2? What if it's the trailer that the same
When you
trailer
say next month, you mean April or do you mean
May.
May? Okay,
April? I mean
Oh.
April.
Okay.
April.
we ain't getting at it. We're not getting that early.
Listen, April, May, June. There's only 2 months between trailer and showcase on stage. So
But then they're not. I believe for 2024. So I'm with you there, Mike. I believe for a reveal in 2024. What I don't believe is that we're going to get the actual system in 2024. So I don't think they would reveal it that early, right?
I mean, they revealed that like consoles like a year in advance before.
Yeah, but they don't need it this time. This isn't a Wii U situation. They
No, but
don't need it this time.
they did it with the Wii too. I went back and they did it with the Wii. They did it with the GameCube.
I'm talking the
64.
Wii U. The Wii U.
No, I know with the Wii U they was dead, but they've also done it with other consoles too. They've announced it like really far
ahead.
Yeah, but this is like one of their best seller systems. So this is a little bit different. I don't see them really unless they are planning to release it this year. Because we have to remember, guys, you know, and my chat, our chat, excuse me. Y'all gotta remember everything
Hashtag
that we've
Joycey
heard-
takeover.
No, never. I don't have the chops. So seriously,
You have
we
the
have to remember everything that we've heard is all rumors. Nintendo could reveal this sucker next month, or later this year, and put it out on shelves and do all the things. We
Mhm.
truly don't really know. We know what we've heard, but we don't really know. So everything's a possibility. They could drop this thing on Sunday. Not that I don't see they do that, but why not? You know, why
I
not?
think the chat is as hard as we are talking about aliens. When next, we'll never know.
Aliens are in Majora's Mask, so it's canon to the conversation. I'm okay with it.
Speaking of a new system, though, you actually brought up a very good point a couple seconds ago, Mike. Hey, stop it. Sorry. You brought up a good point a couple seconds ago when you mentioned April Fools. Guys, Monday, don't
fall for
believe
nothing.
any Switch 2 announcements.
Yeah. Or trailer.
They're
Unless
gonna
it comes
they
from
are going to be-
Nintendo.
They are going to be renders. Check the check mark. Make sure it's real and it's blue or yellow if it's Nintendo. You know, make sure it's like, wait, this is Nintendo. Like, just don't fall for it, guys. Don't. You're gonna see it's gonna have like built-in machine guns and flamethrowers and the race car simulator. It's just gonna be Optimus Prime at this point. Don't fall for it.
If it's a Switch that actually makes waffles, it's fake.
That's the only way I'd believe it.
Actually,
Give me my waffle maker.
Technically,
Listen.
I did email Nintendo and say, and for feedback, and I did say that I wanted it to make waffles. You're gaming, and then you just have a plate of waffles. I mean, I think that's fabulous.
I think it's awesome. I think you know what? Next month something's happening. I'm gonna put that on the. If nothing happens next month, I'll color my hair blue.
I thought you already did your hair blue.
I did. It was like a wash off to see how it looked and everything.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Permanent.
Yeah, I'll do it permanently.
Can you do purple?
Purple? Does purple
Dark
go
purple?
with my tan skin?
Yes. I felt like the blue was like kind of gave you a grayish kind of tint. Yeah, okay,
Tint,
so this
really?
is what I'm better at. It kind of gave you like a grayish tint, like to your whole skin and everything like that. So I think it's kind of like how my hair is a little too dark for the lighting that I have, so I look a little washed out.
Rock some green.
Yeah,
Some green?
there you go. Yeah, so I
Like-
think purple would look good on you. Chat, what y'all think?
I like Super Saiyan Blue. Like this one says Super Saiyan Blue.
That was a good comment. Crazy Scott.
Yeah,
was
that
a
kind of
very
like,
funny.
okay, I want to be Super Saiyan Blue.
That's pretty dope.
A
Yeah.
Triforce waffle maker. A
I
Joy-Con
saw one.
waffle maker. Do you know how much bank that would make if they could make it? You're playing games and it brings you breakfast. It
I
doesn't
don't
even have to be waffles.
I don't
Any
know if
kind
you
of
remember.
breakfast.
We talked about this the first podcast I was with you guys.
Yeah,
Because
I've
then
been
I went
talking
to
about it for a long
went
time.
to Google Triforce waffle maker after you
Yeah.
said that. I was like, oh well, one totally exists, and then none existed. It was just a picture. Someone made waffles and cut them into triangles, and that was the closest.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, really? No Triforce waffle maker.
Yeah, this one makes sense. How about half red, half blue? But
You
that
have
only
to, I'm trying to think about the fact that you have to go out in public and you are somebody's husband and somebody's father. So-
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I want to make sure that you at least, even with the crazy hair, you look nice. So I'm gonna stick with I'll go with red because red is for Mario,
red.
or purple just because I just think purple would look nice on you.
And
Although
only
it's in-
yeah, go ahead.
No, I got something silly. Although when Nintendo
That's
eventually
silly.
shows off the next, platform, if they do have two different colored Joy-Cons or whatever they're called, I think you should do your hair in that.
Yes.
That's
That'll
fair.
be a lot of channel blues a lot of channel views as as the channel that is so committed that you went blue, red, or whatever it is, you know.
All right, that we have a deal. We have a deal. I'll do
That's
that.
a good
We should all
idea.
do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I cheat and I go go to like Party City and get a costume. But okay, seriously though, I'm not a gambling woman and I'm not a betting woman, but I will say I have I totally believe that we're getting something hefty. I didn't say big, just hefty
FT
in
next month.
April. Yes. And what I mean by that is just because I do believe it's going to be a direct, and I still believe that we're getting everything left on the shelf. I do
Mm.
believe that. I believe that Nintendo's going to clean out their shelf. Now, when I say hefty, I mean maybe we get a top-down Zelda, or we get a top-down Zelda, something brand new that would still be fun, that would still get us hyped. Top-down Zeldas are elite, so that's good.
Mhm.
Maybe some ports, some updates to NSO that are exciting, things like that. And I think they're literally just like, okay, guys, this is literally everything that we have in the barrel. It's empty. There's nothing else. And then we can really start looking forward to the next platform. And I know, guys, I know my Zelda fans. Now I got to talk to my people. Zelda fans, I know we want Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD on the Switch. Wind Waker on the Switch. For accessibility, it just makes sense. I think it would sell pretty well, especially Twilight Princess.
It's too late. I already started on Wii U. I'm like, I got
Mike, you got a month. You got a month, but I still don't think it's I still don't think it's necessarily happening. However, in my brain, this is the way this works. The way it works is because I know that, you know, Zelda's one of the money makers now. Hold on one second, y'all. Got to scream at my.
I'm gonna dub it next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, this is a family friendly channel. So anyway, I didn't say nothing family friendly. So the point is that you know, we might do something Twilight Princess or Wind Waker HD maybe a little bit later in the year, but I think the big port, I really believe this, but I don't think it's coming until Switch 2 though, is going to be Ocarina of Time. I think that's going to be the big port. And I don't think it's going to be a port, excuse me. I think they might remake it.
Remaster.
I think it'll be a remake.
I want a remake because I want to play that game so bad, but I don't want to play the 64 game, the 64 version.
The 3DS version is actually straight up fire. That's why I think that, because I mean, when I tell you they really, really smoothed all the Nintendo 64 polygons and parallelograms. That's now I'm messing up my words.
Polygamies.
The polygamies. Yeah. Well, they will need to add 3DS to NSO so we can play, you know.
But what I mean is it was really well done. They smoothed everything out. It looks really, really pretty. Nice. That's why the only thing that would really impress me would be a remake. Not a reimagining. I know I've said that before because because I feel like a reimagining is like, well, you might as well be just telling a different version of the same story, you know. So something like that. But nothing else. My money's on direct in April.
Nice.
At some point.
You agree, Zach? I do have one question that is kind of unrelated, but ever since Paul commented about you dyeing your hair with the Joy-Con colors, it triggered something, and I want to hear from you guys and from the chat because I haven't heard anyone talk about anything like this. Because kind of like, why would you? So if we get a Switch 2, that will, if it's actually named like Switch 2, you know what I mean? That would be like the first like sequel system since the Super Nintendo. Like I know we got the Wii U, which was like a sequel system. It still had Wii in the name, but like it was a whole kind of different thing. But what I'm wondering about, if it is a sequel system, the PlayStation 5 has the same logo as the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation. They just have the PlayStation symbol. You know, Xbox just has the Xbox symbol because it's just, you know, Xbox. Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. Like they're all just like in the same, like they're direct sequels to the previous system, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Would we get a new logo for the Switch 2? Like, and if so, because the Wii U had a different logo than the Wii, and the Super Nintendo had a different logo than the Nintendo Entertainment System. Would
We
we get,
should.
thinking about you shaving the logo in your head with the hair, I was gonna make a comment and I was like, well, wait, it might not be the same logo. And I was just like, it might not be the same logo. I was like, but it might be. But yeah. What do you
I can
think?
shave it to my chest here, like right here.
Yes. Do you think that if it's actually just straight up Switch, do you think it'll be titled Switch 2? And if it is Switch 2, are we getting a new logo?
I think if it's, I think if the Switch branding continues, I think it'll still be the two kind of maybe different. It'll be the same exact kind of form factor as the logo we have now. But if they are upgrading the joysticks, that'll be very heavily kind of put there, right? If they are giving us new joysticks with the new name, that's gonna be heavily marked on that logo because that is the kind of like the, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I honestly, I know I'm probably very alone on this. But I don't want a Switch 2. I want something else. I don't care if it looks the same as long as it's called something else.
Do you mean
Somebody
like
earlier
switching
in
the name still?
Yeah, with no Switch name.
Okay.
Nintendo something.
Somebody earlier in the chat said, and I'm sorry, I forgot who it was. They said the Nintendo Switch Sync. And I said, that doesn't, I know that still has Switch in the name, but they called it the Sync. And I was like, it still makes sense though, but it is different. It's still different.
Nintendo Switch Sync. You'll get the Switch inside the Sync. That picture.
And then for
No,
short,
but I mean, it's
NSYNC.
yeah, I know, right? We'll get the band back together and we'll get them to market it.
Yeah.
No, we want to say hi. Anyway,
It's gonna be May.
It is about to be May.
Come Monday.
You gotta say it. No, it's gonna be April, but after that, it's
No, but come Monday, it's gonna be May. As soon as April 1st, it's gonna be May.
that's right. That's true, and it's gonna be May.
It's
not
gonna
me.
be May.
It's gonna be May.
I mean, we got these nice mics. I mean, we just might as well start a band.
Mhm.
And that's a good segue. For the mics, first thing I want to apologize, guys. I had the mic upside down. My mic was upside down. I wasn't part of the ad. I read the entire description with the mic upside down.
Backwards,
so-
not upside down.
Well, yeah, actually, it was like this. So
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, so
I kept wondering. I was like, why do we sound like this? He
But
sounds like
the
that.
thing is that I blame Zach. You know why? Because I remember my mic was facing forward normally, and then when Zach, when we were trying to messing with the mic at the beginning of the podcast, it was like that. I kind of left it like that. It messed up the entire thing. But anyway, guys, look, listen. It sounds good now. It sounds great. It sounds wonderful.
It sounds
My
fabulous.
cast, the crew sounds amazing today, right? And
Yes.
you look at the bottom of the description, and guess what? This mic is very cheap. It's very cheap. Not cheap in quality, but good for your pockets. So I want to thank Ava Media for sponsoring this podcast and providing us the actual mic and the arm. If you can see here, like check this out.
nice.
I want to break it because then I'll just Ava Media. Look at that.
Boom.
And the arm. And Paul has the other part that comes with the mic. Also, he has the little stand.
That's right there.
on it. No, I'm saying like the little stand, the how you have it on right now.
Yeah. I have it on
Yeah.
the stand, but the microphone, the arm is
The arm is back there. And then
Listen.
Paul's other arm is pretty bad, so he can't really put that arm up because you should have just like cooked that. But yeah, they're great mics. Ava Media was so generous to us to provide everyone in the podcast with a mic. That was amazing from them. And
Thank
if
you.
if you guys are looking for a mic, we highly recommend it. Do not use it the other way around like I did. Make sure that it's facing forward. If you don't see a light, it's not facing forward. The light is on the front. And yeah.
Or just have yours just floating in midair like I do mine.
Exactly. Floating in midair.
Joyce's is
Joyce need
technically
to go to
backwards
bed.
too.
Say what?
So Joyce's mic is technically backwards too.
Technically, because I mean
it is right. It is.
Yeah,
it is on the side, and it is. I had to get creative with mine because of the
Oh
way.
no, it's
my
just
desk is made.
backwards, girl.
So
But
listen,
you sound good.
I made
But
some
yeah, exactly. As long as, but I sound good.
But I made
Decapitated.
I made two mistakes. I made two mistakes. One of them, yeah, it was backwards. Second, I was holding the microphone like right here, like talking to like right literally right here. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's how
So-
you sounded.
Exactly. So the thing is that
Actually, that still sounded better than what he was sounding like.
But I'm saying I'm used to my more expensive mic where I literally have to be right there in front of the mic in order for it to pick me up, even with my gain up, right? And so this one is so great. You don't have to be. It can be right in front of you, and you can just sit back and talk, and it'll pick you up. Good. So that tells you I just did everything you shouldn't do with the mic, right? It was all scripted. It was all on purpose. Nothing was out of. I meant to do that. It meant to do that. So, Air Media. I keep saying 5:30. Is it 5:30? 350.
We want to give a big shout out to Aver Media. Thank you
350.
so much. We
350.
have had entirely too much fun this evening, mainly
With the
because of
promotion.
your mics. So thank you so very much for sponsoring us on the Nintopics podcast.
We have
really
a link down
appreciate it.
below in the description. You'll get a discount over the already discounted price if you use code Mike Odyssey at checkout. And there you have it. You can have your own little podcast going on, or you just use it for online stuff.
Whatever this is.
I am gonna do a test with this week.
Yeah.
Because for the people in the audience who might be newer today and don't know, like I'm in media full time, specifically audio stuff, so
Mhm.
voiceover and audio engineering.
There you go.
So I have
Yeah.
a lot of orders on Fiverr right now for some voiceover, and so I might whip this out for one of them and see how it goes.
That's cool.
There you go. And let us know how it goes, because Aver Media is also the sponsor for our next podcast episode as well. All right. So without further ado, guys, it's happening. April is on Monday. We'll see what happens, whether we get a direct or not. I know that we just went over a podcast talking about Switch 2 backwards compatibility, better joysticks with no Joy-Con name, and like some really cool stuff that's happening. I want to take it over to the cast now so that they can let you know where you can find them and what they have going on this week. And I highly encourage you guys to go to each one of them, follow them, subscribe to them, because they have great content and they also have great things to say if you message them or you just reach out to them. Anyway. So go ahead, take it away, Paul Gale Network.
I am Paul Gale Network, and you could follow me on X/Twitter at Paul Gale Network, or on YouTube at Paul Gale Network as well. On the Twitter/X side, the most recent thing I did was talk about Nintendo's Japanese sales and how they did last week, and how actually Nintendo Switch outsold its respective self from last year by quite a considerable margin, and from last week by a fair margin, and how Princess Peach Showtime was the #1 best-selling game of the week and did around 77,000, if I'm not mistaken, and over 100,000 with digital sales included. So a nice start for the game, and probably you're looking at sales close to 500,000 in the worldwide, but I don't have that number just yet. So if you like sales information on video games, primarily Nintendo, then that's what I do a lot on X over there.
On Twix.
And on YouTube, a fair amount of variety, from unboxings to movie discussions, video games, and stuff like that. And I have to plug this right now, because since book reading was mentioned tonight by Joycey and other people, if you like reading books or just like cool things, you should check out Lisa's Great Adventure. That's my children's book that is a published book, and it's available on Amazon and stuff like that. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
it's a nice little book if you like books
Awesome.
or cool thing.
Take it away, Joshi J.
I am Joycey J. Can you guys still hear me? Because my mic disconnected.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I didn't charge my laptop like Anyway, I'm Joycey J. I'm just a crazy old lady who loves video games, and apparently I love to laugh uncontrollably. Please follow me on Twitter. No, I will not call it X. At DJ Joycey.
She loves to
Zelda's
laugh
Mama.
at my mishaps.
I love to laugh, period. Honestly, I will laugh at a lot of things. I'll laugh at my mishaps. But you gotta admit, Mike, it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
We did the best advertising for Ava Media this evening.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Seriously, it was hilarious because we could at least still hear you.
Yeah, I was just.
It's time to go to bed, y'all. Go ahead. Go ahead, Zach. Where can we find you, honey?
All right, you guys can find me on
The
here
flip side.
on Fridays on this channel. And also, I have a little announcement, which is I am going to be streaming Friday nights after the podcast on my channel, Zach Hendricks Media, which will also come up if you search Zach Hendricks voiceover. I will be playing Smash, and next week is my first week back playing Smash. So I'm calling it the after party. The Nintopics after party is how I'm kind of viewing it.
Sounds
But
good. Yeah.
So you can find me here on YouTube, finally. And then, of course, on X, formerly known as Twitter, or currently known as Twix, next week, potentially known as Bartholomew, at Zach Hendricks voiceovers, or Young Calf Zach, I'm sorry about that. And everywhere else, Zach Hendricks voiceovers, Zach Hendricks Media. It's all right here. Boom.
I think Paul's gone.
After the show is the after party. After the party is the hotel lobby. Oh, sorry. One more quick announcement. To our chat, to our viewers, appreciate and love you guys. I am going to be taking a couple weeks off. Got some medical things I got to deal with. So prayers are always welcome and appreciated. But I will be back to laugh at Mike. I mean, to talk about Zelda. Yes, that's exactly what I meant to say.
And my upside down mic.
We'll try to warn you ahead of time next time.
Right. All right.
We really took that long to notice that his mic was upside down. It was Zach. Let's go.
I don't know how I didn't notice. I'm like here, like pushing buttons But anyway, and you can find me here every single Friday at the Nintopics Podcast, Monday through Friday. The Monday through Friday schedule will change a little bit. It'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for videos, because that's when I'm starting the Mike Odyssey show. It's going to be a crazy show full of comedy, good times, and more. Remember, it's going to be like evergreen content, a little bit of news, but mostly evergreen content, so you guys can watch it any time. And so that'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will continue to do news, but it'll be a little bit different. And I am starting very, very soon with the new show moving forward. Members of the channel get a sneak peek at the first episode coming out soon, so you guys can take a look at the new sneak peek. And of course, you get a producer credit on the show as well. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Ava Media, for sponsoring the this amazing first sponsorship of a product here at the Nintopic Podcast. We appreciate all of you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are the best. I'm talking about you, chat. You.
All of you.
And we will see you in the next amazing adventure here at the Odyssey. But before we let you go, we got
2 things to tell you.
Balloons. We got 2 things to let you know. Number 1.
Never give up. Don't do that. We need you. Mike, turn your turn your microphone right side up.
Yeah.
What? He wasn't talking.
I wasn't talking. Never give up. Like Zach
Did
said,
y'all not hear me say that?
And number 2.
Journey on.
Journey on. Wait, what's the balloons? Come on. Journey on. I'm looking for the that's not it. What is that? What is that?
So, what's the deal with airplane food? You don't even get airplane food anymore.
We'll do that. Pretend that's the entire podcast team. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you more than you know. You are amazing. Check out the link down below in the description. Thank you, Ava Media. Thank you, Paul Yell Network. Zach.
Hendrix, and Yoshi J here at the Intelli Podcast. We'll see you next Wednesday live here at the Odyssey.
Friday.
Wednesday.
Oh, sorry. Wednesday.
You still
I mean
doing jazz
Friday.
hands?
Friday.
Jazz hands, y'all. Jazz
Catch
hands.
us everywhere podcast can be heard. And 3, 2, 1.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Bye.
Wait.
Good night.
When did that end? I don't even know when that ended. We should do it again.
Turn it off, Mike.
All right, guys. Later. Peace.
Good night, guys.
We'll see you later.